He wants the power to himself. And David ain't dying fast enough for him. All right, 14:25. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much as praised as Absalom. See, a lot of these traitors, these Judas Benedicts, a lot of them got charisma, and it even works even better for them if they got the looks to go with it. But in Israel, there was none as so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. He's the most handsome guy in the kingdom. Ladies swooned when they seen him. He put them in a trance. He's the most handsome guy in the kingdom for his beauty. From the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head. He didn't have no blemishes. He looked perfect. I'm sure he was mesmerizing. From the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. And when he polled his head, for it was every year he cut his hair, and every year that he polled it, his hair was long down his back, because the hair was heavy on him. That was a symbol of his pride, his hair. Symbol of his beauty. It's like a peacock. Like that's the symbol of their pride, is their feathers, their beautiful feathers. His hair was his symbol of his pride. Because the hair was heavy on him, therefore he polled it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight. And in the Absalom, there were born 3 sons. Okay. So we now got a composite of Absalom. Very handsome guy. Most handsome guy in the kingdom. Very charismatic, very cunning. See, these guys, that goes a long way when you got the looks. And you're crafty too. And you're a grade A schemer. Oh, you go much further than the average Joe. So now, let's look at his mentor. We're going to pause on him, and we'll get back to him. Let's go to Ezekiel 28:14. This is the first traitor here. We go. Traitor numero uno here. The one that started it all. And let's just look at him for a minute, because I found it striking, the similarities between Mr. Lucifer here and Absalom. I mean, it just you'll see for yourself. Okay, 28:14. Thou art anointed cherub that covered, and I have set thee so. God had 3 cherubs that he created. Lucifer was one. Satan was one. Became Satan adversary. And these was gods. They were in the center, the epicenter of worship of God. These 6-winged angels called cherubs. Thou art anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast up on the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. He had intimacy. He was within the heart of God, the pleasure center of God. This Lucifer. He was created one of the most beautiful angels. You can read about that in Isaiah 14. It describes his beauty. I'm not going to go there. I'm trying to hurry and get to a point. Thou wast perfect in all thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. He became uplifted in pride because of his beauty. It's like this Absalom. Now he was covered with all these jewels. Lucifer was. He seen and looked in the crystal sea and seen how beautiful he was. Became uplifted in pride. Absalom, it was his hair. They said he was perfect. The Bible said it. With a blemish on it. So was this character here. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. See? Vanity. First sin, vanity. Pride and beauty. Pay close attention, all you beautiful ones out there. I ain't got to worry about it. I'm ugly. I ain't got to worry about it. Yeah, that's at least in my brother. Thou hast thou hast defiled thy sanctuary by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Oh, excuse me. Let me go back to 17. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. What do you think God's saying here? You have corrupted, corrupt, rotten. Your wisdom has become tainted. That I created you originally for, I made you wise in service of me. Now you want to be God and play God. That's all the essence of sin is. You want to dethrone God and put your big fat ego on the throne in his place. That's all it is. It's simple. It ain't complex. All we like sheep, Isaiah 53:6. All we like sheep have turned astray. We turn in men our own way. We want to be the boss. We want to be in the driver's seat. It's the essence of sin. I do this and do that, and I don't want to have sex. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't blah, 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 blah. The essence of sin is I will. And that's what Satan's, Mr. Lucifer said here, I will. In Isaiah, I will ascend above the throne of God. I will be like the Most High. Thou hast defied that say. Now this is what Absalom is doing right now. He's plotting and scheming. Instead of waiting for David to die, and he probably would have, David would probably made him king anyway. But no, he wasn't comfortable with the place he was in, so he's going to scheme, become corrupted. Just like this guy here. He's following in his father's footsteps. Absalom here. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty, and thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. You become a schemer. You're very intelligent, but you use your intelligence for evil. And it becomes corrupted. On how to usurp power is all that you can think of. And play God. And I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. And Satan has an end. All you losers that is worshiping, you'll find out they're going to all be thrown in the lake of fire together. That's what it's created for. The devil and his angels. Okay, so now we're moving on. And we'll go from there to back to Absalom. Just wanted to give you where Absalom's father is, who he's following after. We modeled his career after. His traitorous usurping the power career. Okay, so we're going to go back to Samuel. There's just one more part I want to read, and we're wrapping this up. But this is the crux of it here. Now, Absalom is there infecting the body politic. He's starting to spread his poison in Jerusalem. So, 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse 1. And it came to pass after this, that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses, and 50 men to run before him. He's a prince, acting like king, acting like a king. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so. What did I say about that gate earlier? And we read about Cicero. What did Cicero say about the gate? Very important. Traffic of people coming and going. Because remember, Jerusalem is the capital, it's the epicenter of religious worship, of where they come to for us to be judged, all that. Law given, Jerusalem. So you take Jerusalem, it's like Washington, D.C. You capture Washington, you pretty much can capture the nation. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy, pay close attention, he buttered up to the people. He buttered the people's bread. That's what a deceiver does, what a traitor does. Makes you think he's working in your best interest. And that whoever the person is actually in charge is doesn't give a fat rat's tail about you. That's what he's doing. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, of what city art thou? Getting very personal. And he said, thy servant is one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, see, the matters are good and right, but there is no man disputed of the king to hear thee. Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I was made judge in the land. Remember, Cicero caters to the basis of men's nature. You want to stay home and not work? More welfare. You want free education? Oh, I'll give you that. Just give me more power. Give me a second, third term. Make me king. Want me to put more money in your pocket through bribes and contributions to your political campaign? Keep me in power. See how this works? Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I was made judge in the land, that every man which had any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice. And it was so, when that any man came nigh to him to do him obeisance, pay close attention, they bowing down to his big fat ego, obeisance. He put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. The Bible said, open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but a kiss of enemy is a secret. It says that in Proverbs. He's kissing him. He's kissing, almost said, he's kissing up to him. But he's buttering their bread. See how traitor works? Just read about Cicero. He's wearing the same face as them, but he's an enemy within the gates. He's sitting at the gate, but it's still the same thing. He's on the inside. turning the people's hearts away from the king. And it was so that when any man came nigh to him to do him obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. Getting very personal with the people. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. Of course. Became the people's king. And it came to pass after 40 years. He did this for 40 years. Seducing the hearts of the people away from King David for 40 years. See, this is one thing you don't underestimate an enemy within the gates, a traitor, a Judas Benedictor. This won't be a new Judas Benedictor. Kind of like that. Don't estimate the Judas Benedictor. They're patient, calculate. They plot years down the road. They know these coups, these coup d'etats, take time. And these people, they scheme and they plot far ahead. They're masters at manipulation of people. That's what he's doing. He probably sized people up quickly. These people can do that. Size what you're wearing, your demeanor, everything. And take off from there and pray. Do whatever your baseness that moves you is. People move by something. They're keen at exploiting weaknesses to get people on their side. To turn against whoever's in authority that God placed in authority. The Bible said God raises up all the kings of this nation here. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow. He's sounding very religious. He knew David would let him go. If he did that, he was supposed to be like on a type of short leash with David. So let me go and pay my vow. Sounded super spiritual. He knew that. He even knew how to play the king. He knew that would get him leave to go. He knew what to say to get leave from the king to leave his prison, because he was under a type of short leash by David, house arrest type, for killing his son, even though he forgave him. I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed unto the Lord in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode at Gashur in Syria. He ran to Syria, that's where he was in exile. Saying, if the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem. Look at this, using the name of the Lord in vain. Pretending, see how the enemy, what Cicero said, puts on a face. They can play on your heartstrings. I'm a Christian, but no, secretly I'm a Muslim. But I'm going to play you Christians because I know how to play you. I was in the church for 20 years, praising, quote unquote, and quote, praising the Lord. You feel me? See how this goes? For thy servant vowed the vow, while I abode at Gashur in Syria. See, yeah, you know how to work to play on the heartstrings of the old man. All these traitors do. I told you they're very, very shrewd people. Very manipulative. Very streetwise. And they play you like a mark. They play you like Andy Gump. For thy servant vowed the vow while I abode at Gashur in Syria, saying, if the Lord will bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord. people have no loyalty to the Lord. They're only loyal to their big fat egos and power. And the king said unto him, Go in peace. So he arose and went in Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. That's all we're going to read from there. See how he subverted the whole nation, this cancerous traitor? See how they work? I hope you got a good insight. Well, this is the season of treason. That's why we're on this subject. Now, we had a bunch of Judas Benedictus that almost subverted this nation if it wasn't for God's interference. Now, who is the king that almost got subverted in this nation? What was the target? Our king is the Constitution. And that's the enemy of these traitors that's running around in this nation now. It's the Constitution. They want to overthrow Lex Rex, the king's law, or the law is king. Lex Rex, the law is king. They want to overthrow it. That's the only thing that stands between us, we the people, people power, and tyranny is that piece of paper. That's our king. You might as well put a crown on it. The Constitution is what our enemies of today want to overthrow. And replace it with what? Tyranny. Boy, timing's everything. Now, we're going to wrap this up. And I hope this message has moved you. I hope this message has been alarming to you. No pun intended. That's what you hear is an alarm. I hope this message was alarming to you and woke you up out of your lethargy. And God is removing these treasonous snakes from our presence. But now you need to learn so history don't repeat itself. And this is an alarm for you. Brother Jay is sounding an alarm for you now to be awake and conscious from now on, so this will never happen again, at least not in your lifetime. Okay? All right. So we learned a lot about treason within our gates, thanks to Absalom. God bless you. God keep you. God give you. Don't forget to give your first fruits. Starting out with a blessing this year from God. Tithes, as well as Alabaster Box at streetpriestministry.org. Thank God for His grace in saving this nation and giving us President Trump to rescue us from these Judas Benedictus. You don't know how close we've come to being overthrown by this new world order cabal. So, good evening to you. Happy New Year. Good evening to you. Good day. Good night to you around the world. May you grow in faith. Peace in Jesus' name.